What is up, everybody? Long time no see. How are you guys doing in the last couple hours? I know for those of you who've been kind of in and around the channel, we were here earlier today with a scouting report special. Go back and check that out if you want to take a closer look at 8 hidden gems, rising stars, and future ballers. But we are back. This is what we do here on United vs. Everybody. We do a news roundup when there's enough news to talk about, when there's legitimate stuff to talk about. We'll stop because I really just want to get your guys' thoughts on everything. And that's really what we do. This is your channel. I just throw the stuff out there and let you guys run with it. And just we have a good chat, and I'm happy to do that. So that's what we're back to do together. A little bit of stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking about Licha. We're going to talk about Rashford. We got a little bit of stuff going on with some transfer news as well, and then some nonsense from IndyCala that we'll touch upon a little later on anyway. So hope you guys are doing well. For those of you that I saw earlier, how's the rest of your day been going? Let's get stuck in. Like the video, subscribe if you are new. Check those memberships to learn how you can get more involved in the content on the channel. Remember, there is a community tab for the starting 11 and Legends members to get involved with suggestions for scouting reports and whatnot. There is a UVE WhatsApp community now for the starting 11 and Legends members. The link is in the community tab as well. Let's just try to keep that the members as well. Don't want to make sure that we're getting non-members involved. It's a appreciation for the paying members of the channel. So let's keep that in mind as well. The link is out there, but we'll see what we can do there. But and then make sure too, I don't really understand how this works because I'm old, but after the videos have been live for a bit, just do me a favor, go back on your phones and hit that hype button. I guess that's a thing. Don't ask me how it works. I don't know why YouTube feels the need to change this shit around all the time, but go hype the videos afterwards. I think it's only available on the phone, but it does help the channel, you guys, just like liking and subscribing. It's free and it only helps us get to more members, get to more people in the community, and really just get more United fans touching base and chatting. So it's never a bad thing. So that's what we're going to do, you guys. Let's jump on in. Don't ask me about Adam Wharton because I don't for one second believe any of the news. I know everybody was going hard yesterday on all this stuff in the Daily Mirror. It wasn't a story in the Daily Mirror. It was the Daily Mirror citing a story from the Daily Star. And so I think people are too quick to read what's on Twitter and not actually go read the article. If you go read the article, the Daily Mirror is citing a report from the Daily Star, which immediately in my mind just removes any legitimacy from it. So read the articles, people. I've said this hundreds of times on the channel. You got to read more than the tweet. So don't ask me about that anymore. Let's jump on in the chat, see what's everyone's going on. I do have a poll in the chat for you guys as we're going to talk about Licha. I want to know what you think United should do with Licha. What will you do with Licha? He's had some injuries and whatnot, but I want to know your thoughts. So get involved in the poll. We'll come back to that a little later on when we get to Licha. So anybody watching the under 20 World Cup right now? I know got some upsets recently, a lot of red cards yesterday as well. I will be doing a show soon going through my best 11 from the tournament so far. It might not line up with your best 11. Everybody's going to have a little different, it's just the way it is. But I've got my best 11. I've one player in each position and made a 4-3-3. I will go through that later on this week. But yes, I've been watching the U20. So a couple of the youngsters have caught my attention. You guys know I love doing scouting reports. You know that I love watching these young players play and seeing who's got it, who might, be the next big thing. So keep an eye out for that stream later on this week. What's going on in the chat? Let me see. Ian, big up in the house again. Legend stopping by all over the place today. He is in favor. That's one vote to keep Licha. But I appreciate you. Hang out with the wife, man. Get your mo. Still don't know what that is. I'm going to have to Google it and see what's going on. Jim D64 in the house again. How's it going, man? Good to see you all again. Me is the skeleton crew today. Big up, Rob Taff. As always, good to see you again, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Rob says, I like the player, not the injuries. Yeah, we're going to talk about it because I'm not, little spoiler, I'm not keen on everyone throwing around the injury prone tag on Licha. Doesn't mean that I don't have concerns, but he's not injury prone, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Mad Hatter, big up. Hope you're doing well, Mad Hatter. Good to see you again, my friend. Yes, the Daily Star, and this is the thing that pisses me off about the media, is the Daily Mirror knows what they're doing. They will just grab a hold of like the little blurb from the Daily Star, they'll post that blurb on their Twitter account, and then they'll put, but they won't cite anything. And then everyone kept running with it. Everyone kept posting that little blip about Adam Wharton, and then they would tag the Daily Mirror. It's not from the Daily Mirror. It came from the Daily Star. They almost got me. I almost went ahead and did a whole video on that. And then I was like, I kept reading, and I'm like, oh, Daily Star. All right, delete. We're done. Sorry. Ian says Daily Star isn't even good enough to be chip paper. I gotta say, clearly, I'm American, unless I've got the worst Manc accent ever. Clearly, I'm American. So before I did the channel, before Steady News and stuff, I was heavily involved in like forums, like online forums, message boards and whatnot. And I learned, it took me years, because I don't know any better, right? It took me years to learn which papers, which outlets were good, which ones were just shit, things like The Sun, which journalists were not to be trusted and whatnot. Some of this you learn by just the way we treat them. Like when Sir Alex is banning like Samuel Butthurst from, pressers, clearly he's not someone that you want to trust and stuff. And then, just watching, just ESPN, TalkSport, all the Sirius I listen. You guys know I call in Sirius XM all the time to argue with Rodney Marsh and Tommy Smith. So I don't have a problem. Really, it's just to correct them on their bullshit. I don't know how they have a channel or a whole show. They don't really do any research, but I'm learning. In Daily Star, I've learned a while ago, is just don't even bother with the Daily Star. So, and I'm learning, since doing this channel, there's been a lot of outlets that pop up that I just don't even bother with. So when you're wondering, why isn't Sean talking about this? Because it probably just came from somewhere like Team Talk or Caught Offside or Trikahes or something. I don't even bother with that shit. So that's why I don't talk about a lot of that stuff. So in case you're wondering, that is why. So yes, big up, Rob. Thank you. Appreciate that. So let's do a little bit of an update. So if you guys saw the short I put out the other day, we did get a little update about Sekou Kone over the weekend. He has returned to training with the under-21s. Sounds like he's expected to return to actual matches for the under-21s after the international break is over with. He's also, if you guys saw on the short, he's also working on English lessons, doing in-person lessons in English to try to work on his communication so he can better communicate with his teammates, his coaching staff, et cetera, et cetera. I really love that. I think that shows dedication. That shows, hey, I'm thinking long-term, planning to be here, planning to be in and around this kind of stuff. And I think that will be appreciated by everybody. When you go that little extra mile, like Cheeto, when he was hiring like extra striking coaching off the regular training to work on everything, like that kind of thing is what sets you apart, from the Ronaldos who are first to training, staying late, getting yelled at by the grounds folk because he's staying late practicing his free kicks and whatnot. So, and for a minute he was great. I mean, he hasn't really had. When was the last time he scored from a direct free kick? I don't know. I don't watch Al Nassr, so does anybody really watch Saudi League? But that kind of stuff does set you apart. He's also really improving physically, Sekou Kone, as well. So again, I'm excited. I like Sekou Kone a lot. He's a big factor in why I wasn't too eager to spend a lot of money on Carlos Baleba. I think they're very similar profiles, very similar traits, characteristics. And you guys know I always back the academy before going and spending an arm and a leg on a young player. I will always back the academy first and foremost. But Kone, he's still a bit raw. Sure, but if he can get back to action soon, maybe finish the season strong, then there shouldn't be any reason not to see him heavily involved in preseason. I think he's ready for that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think I'd like to see him getting in around the first team at some point. If he hadn't gotten injured, maybe if we were still in the Carabao Cup with some favorable draws, who knows? But hey, FA Cup's right around the corner, so you never know. I just hope, fingers crossed, that we see some youngsters in and around the matchday squad. We see them, so they're there, but I'd like to see some of them getting minutes. I just don't know. We're at that point with managers, right, where they're not. I think Amorim is maybe feeling a little bit of pressure. I don't think we're going to see him take a ton of risks in terms of too many youngsters, if that makes sense. We see that from a lot of managers over the years. They're not ready to take a whole lot of risks when they feel like the job is on precarious positions. So Matt Hatter says, if it ain't on ESPN, Sky, or Romano, I don't believe it till I see it. Yeah, I'm done with ESPN, man. There's like most of these outlets these days, dude. they're so just transparently and unapologetically just anti-United. It's Abu after Abu after Abu everywhere I look these days, man, and it's freaking ridiculous. It's the Lord's work as a United fan if you're out here trying to grok something or check somebody or just call them out for their bullshit. I try to do it when I see it. I called out Athletic earlier today for this nonsense about Benjamin Sesko and all these scouts. Have you guys seen this bullshit? All these scouts they supposedly pulled. Who was the biggest waste of money? And like 6 scouts voted freaking Benjamin Sesko. I'm about done with the Athletic, man. I'm seriously. People think like the Athletic is David Ornstein. It is Lori Whitwell. Now the Athletic is a ton of journals, and not all of them just are good. I've said it many times. There's a ton of money being wasted on journalism degrees in the UK, and it's getting more and more apparent each and every day. Like that was some absolute nonsense, dude. But you guys see, man. Let's see. Ian says it'll be great to see Kone get back, get some first team minutes. He looks very promising. Dude, he's so good, man. He just wants to get on the ball. He's got energy. He doesn't give the opposition players a moment to breathe. He just wants to get involved. He's got energy. He's got fight. I like it a lot. It's just a freak accident. And we were kind of half watching that match when he went down defending a corner and got elbowed in the eye and basically fractured his eye. So it was like a 20-minute delay. He got stretchered off straight to the hospital. Messed up. Ian says, I've said for a while, I think him and Kobe will be a good partnership. Yeah, I think they would complement each other well. It just depends which one you'd like to see. They both got to get bigger. Kobe's getting bigger. It sounds like Sekou Kone is getting bigger as well. Again, they're young. People forget that as well when we look at like 16-year-olds or 17, 18-year-olds, and we say, oh, they're small. Well, you're going to still be physically growing well into your early 20s as a young man. This is part of it. That's just the way it happens. And this is part of what goes into scouting at the young age. They teach you this with like some of the talent identification. You have to take physical age into account because looking at how a player plays when they're like 11, 12, 13, 14, they might not play the same way if they get a huge growth spurt or something a couple years down the line. And so it's important things to keep in mind. And so I like to see you're never looking at the finished product until they're like in their mid-20s ish. So Danny B in the house. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope the rest of your day went well, man. We are just diving in Sekou Kone on his way back. Just a little recap of that short I put out the other day for everyone who's getting started. And then we were bashing the Athletic a little bit. As Mad Hatter says, they've fallen off. It's just literally, if it weren't for United, I don't think half these outlets would be around. A lot of these journalists wouldn't have jobs. It's just low-hanging fruit. Like Slow News Day, let's just bash United. Let's just post some nonsense about agents bashing Sesko when Florian Wirtz has done fuck all since joining. Like, it's absolute fucking nonsense. I swear, the media, the journalists do everything besides wipe Liverpool's ass for them, man. Fucking Scousers, dude. So done. But big up, man. Good to see you again, Danny. Hope you're doing well, dude. So from one young midfielder to another, we've got links to more central midfielders today. So this is coming from UOL Esporta, which is a reliable Brazilian outlet. Reliable. They're one of the most well-known, reputable source outlets in Brazil. Apparently, we are talking about Breno Bidon. Now, according to the outlet, United are among several clubs interested in Breno Bidon. He's 20 years old, plays for Corinthians. And apparently we have made contact to begin talk with the player's entourage for a January transfer, is the alleged report here. Danny says, baller. Yeah, Jarvis was asking me about him a little bit last night in the live stream. I gave him a little bit of info on him. So yeah, Danny, you had brought him. We scouted him a long time ago, Danny. If you remember, like a long time ago. But again, good outlet. We scouted him a while back. He's technical on the ball. He's calm and composed. Excellent work rate. Good passing range. Good vision. And the kid has got Techers AF, dude. The kid, if you watch him play, the kid he's got that like Odegaard passing where you think like natural motion, natural like movement, then a pass comes. Odegaard will kind of disrupt his natural movement to play a pass that you just don't anticipate. But like I said, we did scout this kid on the channel a while back. Like I said, he's left-footed, plays center midfield, 5'10", not bad. Again, technical, he's press resistant, good dribbling, good passing, good vision, good composure. I like you. It's very rare I see a Brazilian without techers, right? This guy is a boss. Um, Again, really good. Again, you're getting a little bonus scouting report here today. I figured, why the hell not, right? We're just going to talk about it. So, but you can see, I think that's Gremio he's playing against right there. I think that's a Gremio jersey. But you can see his heat map does spend a little time, in the opposition half. But again, as an 8, as a creative, he is a bit like that. Danny, who'd you say? Who would you equate him to in terms of players go? He's kind of roaming around. He's getting on the ball, maybe like a prime Frankie De Jong or something. If the guys make sense, not like a recent, but like a prime Frankie De Jong. But you can see he gets a lot of touches. He's getting involved in midfield, those middle spaces. Good pass completion, good progression numbers, good take-ons. Again, top 7% for take-ons. That's what I meant by press resistance. The guy's a beast. And off the ball, not afraid to put in a shift, almost top 30% when it comes to tackles per 90 for midfielders. So very, very, very good midfielder. You guys know. Ian says, I'd love to see a 3-man midfield. Kobe, Kone, Buwadi. Just see that as an absolutely perfect midfield. I think it's good. It's always good to have a good complement. I think a 3-man midfield would work even right now with Kobe and Bruno as an 8. Bruno, I think, plays an 8 predominantly for Portugal. I think that would work just fine. Maybe you go, swoop. Maybe we do like a Casemiro Ruben Neves swap in January. Bring Ruben Neves to sit in that deep pocket. In a 3-5-2, I think would work really well. I've said this many times in the channel. Under Amorim, we don't have the midfielders. We're getting cut through like a hot knife through butter. Just put another body in there, switch to a 3-5-2, and just rotate. It's just part of it. If the players wanted to be in multiple competitions, then they should have done better against Grimsby. They should have done better last season. They should have performed. Losing the Spurs in the final in the way we did was an embarrassment. So the best player will play. The players to pick the team. It's just the way it works. So what is Danny saying? Danny's saying he's kind of cross between Silva and Pedri. Yeah, I could see that. Gets about the pitch a bit like Silva. He's on the ball like Pedri. Very, very good. Like it. Ian says, absolutely agree. Definitely has the energy. Light Pedri, also agree. Yeah, the dude's got techers AF, man, all day, bro. All day, dude. Oh, David Silva there. Yeah, I could see that too. He's just good. I like this kid a lot. Like I said, we scouted him a long time ago. Yeah, and like Danny says, those tackles, he is a bit of a terrier off the ball. I like the idea of a January transfer, especially a midfielder. We really need to. We definitely need. There's no excuse to not get a midfielder in January. I doubt, the question is, would he be thrown into action right away as a 20-year-old? I mean, I'd love it if we can maybe offload Casemiro to Corinthians, let him go play football in Brazil and do like some sort of exchange there. But I don't know if Casemiro is going to be willing to forego 6 months of, almost 300K a week to go play football in Brazil. I think that makes a lot of sense, but financially it probably doesn't. But let's say hypothetically, if this is true, I mean, we've been linked to a lot of midfielders. We reportedly put in a bid for Carlos Baleba, made a late push for Conor Gallagher on loan from Atletico Madrid. They only wanted a permanent deal. We didn't have this cash. And now this kid, being reported by a reliable Brazilian outlet. What do you think all this means then for guys like Kobe Mainoo, guys like Manuel Ugarte? Everyone's talking about Elliot Anderson, Adam Wharton, Baleba. I would love a midfield of Adam Wharton and Elliot Anderson. I think that would be a perfect midfield combination. But that midfield combination, this system probably still means Kobe's not going to start. Do you start him over Elliot Anderson? Do you start him over Adam Wharton? Probably not. And if Bruno's still here, he's not starting over Bruno. So Breno Bidon is 20. What do you think Kobe's going to make of us signing another 20-year-old midfielder when Kobe's himself 20? Who knows? We got reports that he tried to leave United, blocked it. Romano reiterated that today. He also said Kobe, while he's not kicking up a fuss, he's very professional. He's working hard. He hasn't done anything like that. He might still try to leave in January if he's not getting minutes. And so if you're not getting minutes, do something about it. Challenge yourself. I've said this many times about Kobe. If not getting minutes as a young player with barely any a whole lot of time of first team football under his belt, if that is more of a I'm going to sit and pout about this as opposed to I'm going to challenge myself, recognize that I'm young and try to improve, then that's a problem, right? Kobe's missed 38 matches in the last two years of first team football because of injury. He didn't start for us till November of a couple years ago because he was injured. I'm not getting mad at him, I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying he's missed a lot of football. He's not huge. He's getting better, and he's got to develop. He's young. He's not the finished article. And so he needs to be patient. But it is what it is. Danny says Thwaites is as good, but a year or two behind development. Yeah. We're not like teams like Brighton or even like Dortmund or any of the Dutch sides or anything where we can throw the youngsters in like that. Like Brighton, that's their model, right? That's what they do. It is what it is. We can't quite get away with it necessarily all the time. Now, I love using the kids. I love promoting youth, and we've done a very good job, I think. Not all of them are good enough, and not all of them are quite ready yet. And so I think, and mentality is a part of that. It's not just skill and physicality, it's mentality. Are you ready to be patient? Are you ready to take your opportunities? Are you ready to be played out of position or in a role that you're not quite comfortable with? That's a question for the players to answer. So Danny says Bruno is more of a long-term Bruno replacement. Yeah, we need someone who's got the skill of Bruno, but maybe just a little bit more controlled in that he's not gonna always play the risky ball and go for like the full like momentum kind of like seeing red kind of thing, like tunnel vision kind of thing. I love Bruno, you guys know that, but someone who's a little bit more controlled, I think, would be good. Box, big up, Box. Good to see you again, man. Hope you're doing well. Simba United says, I'm glad you're covering Breno. We did cover him probably, I don't know, Dan, what was it, like well over a year ago? I can't remember now. I've done so many scouting reports on this channel. It's like cramming for a test. I'll do them, but then I'm already hard at work on the next batch. It's very easy for me just to forget which ones I've done. Like it just is. I should probably go back and try to keep a list somewhere, but I just don't. So like we did the scouting report this morning. I already like moved on to the next batch that I'm already pretty much done with. So that's just how I roll, man. You guys know I'm a scouting nerd. I love it. There's books behind me about scouting. I've just started reading John Cotterill's newest one, Scout Stories. Looks pretty good so far. He actually interviews a lot of scouts, some of which remain anonymous. It's pretty good stuff. So you guys know I'm a bit weird like that. So Jim says a lot of our players are very attached to their wage, didn't want to let go. I mean, I'm sure a bunch of us probably would be the same, right? And this is a problem with the club that we've talked about a couple times now, Jim. We've had the most important decisions at this club since Sir Alex and David Gill both left at the same time. The most important decisions at this club have been made by the most clueless, incompetent, greedy people imaginable. The most important decisions were made by guys like the Glazers, Woodward, Murtaugh, Arnold. These guys did not know what to do. We had a guy show up to meet with Ashraf Hakimi and did not know who the kid was. Like, these are the people that were making decisions. And part of that is, let's sign Anthony and take him from 200 or 20K a week to like 200K a week, because that's how we roll. Let's give Jadon Sancho a 300,000, a 300K a week contract. What's going to happen in 2 years if he does really, really well and wants a raise? Now we've got to bring him to 400K, or like what happened where he flops and now we're stuck with him on 300K a week. Like, these are this, like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. My wife could look at that and say, that's iffy. And she couldn't pick out a football at Dick's Sporting Goods. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So Dave says, we covered him last year too at the South American Cup. Yeah, I think he was Sao Paulo, Copa Sao Paulo or something, player of the tournament. I can't remember. That would have been like a year or two ago. You have to remind me, Danny. You might remember. Danny's the guy for South American players. So if he gets Danny's stamp of approval, you know he's good. I'm interested to see what you think about my best 11 for this under 20s, Danny. There's some familiar faces in there. Simba says we need to keep investing in young talents like Seko, Aiden, Cheeto. Yeah, Dabo, we're still trying to get over the line as well. Enzo Kanabike is over in Lusan Sport as well, doing his thing. I would have loved to see us get someone like Nipan. Would have loved to see us get someone like what's his face up, Pafundi, I think his name was. We're not going to get them all, but we could get some. So it is what it is. Ian says, imagine Cobby, Walton, and Wharton, Anderson midfield. Yeah, it would be freaking amazing, man. It would be amazing. Borton could be like that Busquets Carrick role. We've got Anderson kind of ratting around like an Ander Herrera, and you got Colby just kind of carrying the ball, beating the first man, press resistance, like chef's kiss. Chef's kiss that. Inject that in my veins, man. Like Danny says, cooking. Bach says, who are your biggest wonder kids who didn't make it? Oh, yikes. The biggest wonder kids that didn't make it. I'm trying. They mean like stuff people that United have signed. Um, I don't know. I mean, Hoyland was pretty disappointing because especially after that first season, he did so well, much better than I thought he would that first season. And I don't entirely blame Hoyland for everything, but it did kind of go down here quickly. I struggle to think of many off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look at like the hit or miss videos that we've done on the channel when it came to my old scouting reports from a long, long, long time ago before I even had the channel. But I don't know off the top of my head. You let me know if you have any off the top of your head, man. Simba says McGuire, Bruno Casemiro, Dallo, Binder have to go. Yeah, Dallo for sure. Dallo for sure has got to go. I'm done. His 1v1s are garbage. His crossing has literally not. He's given so many fans and Rosette souvenirs with these balls that he tries to put to the back post, and they just go flying. The guy is so bad at crossing the ball. He doesn't get his foot around it. That's why. He does not know how to get his foot around the ball. That's why it's always pinged and it's never like whipped. There's never any curl on it. Dude, just hit it early. Get your foot wrapped around it, man. Go watch some old David Beckham highlights and just learn how to put a cross in the box. It's not that hard. It really isn't. I do remember Nestor. Donny van de Beek was one that I was always super excited for. I really loved him at Ajax. I thought he was an excellent midfielder. Just the like wrong time for him. Donny van de Beek was never going to thrive in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's counter-attacking system because he's not that kind of player. And then by the time Ten Hag came in with the injuries, and I think he just got done with United. I think he was just ready to go. I just think he was over it. So it always is going to be a supreme bummer of my United fandom that Donny van de Beek didn't work out because I absolutely loved Donny van de Beek. Bach says Onana. Yeah, Onana's got to go. Rashford will probably be gone. Malacia looks like he might be going to Galatasaray, though I don't really know that he's good enough for Galatasaray personally. Malacia is also a lot older than people realize. I think he's 25, 26 almost. He might be 26 now. He looks about 13. That's why everyone thinks like, oh, he'll get good. Don't like inject that Lingard syndrome into this where he's got potential at 27 years old. I don't have anything personal against Malacia. He didn't kick up a fuss like Sancho or Rashford or Garnacho. He just wasn't good enough. Even when he first signed, he just wasn't good enough. And that was an issue with Ten Hag's talent identification. Is it just he was still thinking in Ajax levels when he got to United, and he had to start thinking a little bigger. I'm not saying go and sign the Galacticos, but you could dream a little bigger there, sweetheart. You could look for someone like Teo Hernandez instead of Tyrell Malacia at Manchester United. Or better yet, maybe take a look at the doctors who were telling you, yeah, Shaw, Malacia, they'll be fine, and say, fuck off. I'm going to roll the dice on Alvaro, and we're going to go that route. That was one of the things that pissed me off most about Ten Hag is he didn't take enough risk, and we lost Alvaro because of it. Should have rolled the dice on Alvaro, man, because now the kid is an absolute baller. So, Januzaj, yeah, Ravel Morrison is always one of those ones that everyone looks to. You could almost argue to some extent that George Best probably didn't fulfill his like fullest potential just with his off-pitch lifestyle. Like if you talk to a lot of United coaches, people have been at the club for decades, they'll say like oftentimes George Best is actually used as a bit of a warning story for young players on like maybe how not to behave. We did a what if episode on George Best. That was one of our first episodes. If you guys haven't watched those, go check that out. So Ian, I appreciate the support, man. Wants to watch a film, as long as it's a good film and you're not leaving us for like Mean Girls or something, then yeah, that's fine. But you got lucky. Enjoy the night, man. Thank you for stopping by. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Make sure you guys go and hype the videos on your mobiles, because that's a thing. Don't ask me what it means. It's just a thing. So like says AZ or 20 would be a good move for Malacia. I mean, we got him from the Dutch league. I think it was at AZ Alkmaar. It was either Alkmaar or Feyenoord. I can't remember now off the top of my head is where we got him from. Maybe it was Feyenoord, but he should be Gaza. Yeah. some good players out there that never quite made it, unfortunately. It is what it is. Dele Alli is probably a bummer. He had a really good spike at Spurs, and then and he had a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I don't think a lot of people realize. This is why it's important to talk to people. But he was just for a second there, he was an absolute world beater, and then it just kind of quickly went downhill. So who knows? But that is Breno Bidon. So you guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the players, midfield. What does this mean for Kobe? What does this mean for our midfield? I think more midfielders is never a bad thing. I think that Casemiro is probably going to leave in the summer. Very, very real possibility of Bruno leaving in the summer. Kobe will probably get more and more minutes, but he's still got work to do. Ugarte, I don't know. Ugarte can do a job. I'll say that, but he wouldn't be the one I'd look to start week in, week out, because his press resistance is not good. His building up, his first touch is not great. He's not super great on the ball. So he does a job, and I'll give him that. He does have a knack, though, for popping up in and around the box in some of these one-touch attacking moves sometimes, which I'm like, where did that come from? Just too few and far between, unfortunately. So what you going to do? Speaking of midfielders, before we move on, just before we went live, I saw a report from Sport Build that United are reportedly interested in Joe Bellingham. I think we just talked about this the other day, right? There was a report that he wasn't happy with his minutes, and then I was like, don't be surprised. Would you take him on loan in January? I think Crystal Palace were named as well. Again, we saw rumors that he's frustrated not getting much play time, which is interesting, considering he went to Dortmund and they play everybody at Dortmund. I like Job. He's not as good as Jude. There plays a different role. Jude is more vertical, more box to box. Job is definitely a little bit more side to side. He got a little bit more of a Hayden Hackney-ish vibe to him. He's definitely a kind of a floater in his own half, linking up things, keeping things moving, getting involved here and there. Now, Sport Build especially, they can be pretty hit or miss. Their sources don't tend to be the best, so it is what it is. I'm just throwing it out there because I saw it and I thought it was ironic that we just mentioned this the other day and all these rumors are coming out. Not saying Sport Build watches the channel, but have you ever seen Sport Build in the chat? Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, Job is good. I watched him a lot at Sunderland, but I don't quite necessarily buy the rumors. So Rajat, big up. It's been a minute, Rajat. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. But you guys let me know what you think about Job. He's good. He's not Jude. He's definitely a couple levels below his brother, but I think he's very good. So Ian says 100%. We're watching Napoleon. Not sure, but the whole family wants to watch it. Oh, so that sounds. Isn't that the one with Joaquin Phoenix? Is that going to be like a super long freaking film? Seems like that would be a long one. I've never seen it, but it seems like it would be long. So, Job, Brock says Bellingham's big egos. Job's not bad. It's just they're both big. Like I don't think I realized how big both the Bellingham kids are. They're pretty big dudes. So let me know if you guys watched him at Sunderland though, because he was pretty good at Sunderland, probably their best player, and then he ended up leaving. So what you gonna do? It is weird though that he did the exact same thing his brother did and went to Dortmund. So I don't know. That to me, I don't know. Do you think that played into it? Like, do you think like would you try to go to a different club than your other brother went to, so you weren't like looking like you were just trying to copy? Is that like a brother? I don't have brothers, so I don't know. Is that a thing that brothers do? I'd be like, I'm not going to the same one my brother. I'm gonna go to a different one. Let me go to like Leipzig or something like that. I don't know. That seems. I'm thinking about it, and I was like, oh wait a second, that's the same exact thing. Rob, always United. Welcome back, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you're having a good Monday. It is beautiful here today. Dog got a new harness and a new leash, and she's recovering nicely from ACL. So we went on a nice little walk earlier to get her leg all good. I got to take her back in this week for X-ray, but it is a beautiful day. But good to see you, Rob. Always United. I got 2 Robs in the chat. I got to make sure I use the full name now, but I throw them on the screen so you guys know who I'm talking about. So Box says, I think he had a falling out over playing time after storming into the dressing room. Who's that? Job? Well, again, if so, we don't want those egos here. So moving on to some of the big news. So could we see a November return to action for Lisandro Martinez? Well, some outlets say yes. Flew out to Dubai, apparently to do some warm weather training as part of his training program that he's on. But the current projection is for him to return to group training after international break. Reports too this week that he is back in group training, and with the goal to be back in the matchday squad soon. Now, it doesn't look like he's going to be here for Liverpool. I think that's a little too soon. I've seen some people say we don't want to see him back until January. I think that was Stu on Jarvis's channel. But reports claim he could be back for Brighton, could be back for Forest. So you could see there was a poll in the chat, and I want your guys' thoughts. Where do you stand on Lisandro Martinez these days? So far, 75% of you say keep him. 25% of you say cut our losses. So many people say that he's injury prone. Licha he's definitely our best defender by far when it comes to the way we play. He's composed on the ball, seen him Cruyff turn people in his own box, create space for himself. He's got an excellent pass. He does not back away from a fight, whatever. Like, I love, just for the way he was bodying Salah in his first season alone, I will love this man forever. He's such a good, he's everything we need from all of our players is what Lisandro Martin is. He's a leader, again, goal threat, passing range. I mean, the issue though is the whole when he's fit caveat, which you guys know I don't like when he's fit, right? And that's the rub of it, right? Again, like I said earlier, I'm not having any of this he's injury prone or he's a waste of money nonsense that I've seen some people claim. He's not Luke Shaw, he's not Anthony Martial, he's not Mason Mount, he's not a never-ending string of niggling hamstrings or ankle issues that just never seem to go away. And no offense to those guys, I'm just using them as an example. He's not injury prone in that regard, like a Phil Jones or something. The two first injuries that he had, the metatarsal and then the ligament in the knee, right? The knee, those were contact. Like, you can't do anything about contact. That's like calling Virgil van Dijk injury prone when Jordan Pickford basically landed on his knee. Like, that's literally what happened to Lisandro Martinez, his second injury. Like, that's not injury prone. That's contact. Not his fault whatsoever. And I was worried when it happened, especially when you're out of action for that long, that there could be some initial issues. And that's exactly what happened with the ACL. When you're out of action that long, especially in the sport, that puts 100 times more strain on your body, especially your legs, than most people have to deal with on a regular basis. Yes, it is going to happen. I didn't play for a while, almost a year, when my buddy Justin, you guys have met Justin, when he went to go teach in South Korea. He and I used to play every single week. He comes back from South Korea. We go hard for like 3 hours on the pitch, and I pull my groin, like, immediately. You can't go from not playing to playing right away and not expect a little bit of something. And that's what happened. ACL, long-term absence caused. I am worried, though, that those two long-term injuries and then the ACL now have maybe hindered his overall fitness going forward. Like, his level was here, fitness, and I feel like every single one of those long-term injuries, it was like knocking it down. Like, it's like when you play FC 26 and you've got stamina. The more you sprint, that stamina bar goes down. But over time in a match, it doesn't go back up to the very, very top. It whittles down a little bit, so your maximum stamina is no longer like as high as it was by the end of the match. It's kind of what I feel like fitness-wise, this is what we're going to deal with. I worry that we could see more issues like this ACL stuff. I'm cautiously optimistic. You know, I've done videos, though, to prepare. It's never about wanting someone to go. Same with amorim. Dylan and I did that kickabout looking at amorim managers, replacements. Go check that out if you haven't yet. Go make sure you go vote if you haven't yet. Those links are in the description. It's not that I want amorim gone. I don't want Licha gone, but you have to prepare. The club is probably preparing. The club's probably got a short list. So we've done Licha replacement videos. I didn't even include him in my preferred 11 going into the season in the season prediction video because it's a question mark right now for me. Of course, when he's fit, I want him to stay fit forever, but I don't know yet. And so that's what I'm saying. But what do you think? Can we plan on Licha being around? Do you just start him no matter what? Do you need to maybe take a look at the injuries and the fitness and say maybe if someone gives us a big offer, just take it and maybe go for someone who, fresh start on the left-hand side? Should we cut our losses? Do you think he's a waste of money? Do you think he's injury prone? Let me know in the chat. Let me scroll back up and see where everyone's doing. Ian has got a long night ahead of him. Fuck's sake, 160 minutes, bro. Well, make some food is what I gotta say, man. Fucking hell. Danny's kind of right where I am. Give him the season, maybe assess in the summer. I think Licha is captain material. I think the Lit is captain material. We have a lot of we've got a lot of people like that in the club, more than people realize. But see what happens. If he gets another injury, like a non-contact injury, then I think the writing might be on the wall with that one, unfortunately. And it's not his fault. It isn't. It's just, this is what happens. This is the risk you take when you play sports, man. That's just part of it. Box says maybe Licha needs to tweak his game. He can't afford another long-term injury. Maybe it's going too hard into a tackle. Maybe he needs to tweak that a little bit. And maybe under Amorim it'll look different. He looked very good under Amorim. I think it was one recovery run into our box that saw him pull up, no contact or nothing, and that's again strain after a year of not even playing. Like, it's gonna happen. So Rob Taff, always supporting the channel. Big up, Rob, legend, man. Yes, please like and subscribe, you guys. I'm having a really good time talking Licha, talking United with you guys. Big up. Rob, always United, says, I think we have to wrap Licha in cotton wool. What does that mean? Just don't use him? Because then why keep him, right? Like, if you're not going to play him, if you're going to play him sparingly, do you just play him till he breaks and then you just deal with it? I mean, at this point, it's more rare for him to be fit than it is for him to be injured. So we're already basically used to life without him, if that makes sense. But again, in this system, in that left-hand side, he's probably the best defender we have. This defender that's probably most suited to the way we're trying to play. There's a reason Ten Hag brought him to the club. He knows him, and he suits the building out from the back. Licha is very, very good on the ball. I've seen some people even say push him to one of the pivot roles in midfield. I'm not a fan of doing that necessarily. People used to say that about Wan-Bissaka and stuff. I'm like, just let him play where he plays. I don't have a problem with it. I've never believed his height was an issue, despite what Graham Souness or Jamie Carragher's dumbasses would like to say. Isn't it funny the Liverpool X-Plex players want to come out and talk this absolute nonsense? Guarantee you Licha would outjump a prime Jamie Carragher. Just saying. Fucking spitty gobby bite. Sorry, I don't like Jamie Carragher. I mute it when he's on Paramount Plus because I just can't. The Scouse accent's got to be one of the most grating accents I've ever heard. I can't stand Jamie Carragher's voice. And you know what? Another thing, what a coward Jamie Carragher is. You know how many times Liverpool have lost a match or got knocked out of a competition, and Carragher on the very following next episode of the overlap is just nowhere to be found. Like, nowhere. I guarantee now Liverpool are on this 3-match losing run, right? I guarantee he only showed up to the last episode of the overlap because Kenny Dalglish was the guest. If Kenny Dalglish wasn't on there, Jamie Carragher there'd be a fucking Jamie Carragher shaped puff of smoke in that chair because he would be nowhere to be seen. He's such a coward, man. What is it with Liverpool defenders and being cowards? Van Dijk is the same way, dude. Sorry. You guys know I got to go on a rant sometimes. I just hope that when we do a match reaction after this weekend, that I can find my bottle of Scouse tears and just chug it live on air, because you guys know it's been a while since I've had those Scouse tears, since we knocked them out of the FA Cup a couple years back, but I am ready and willing to break open another bottle of Scouse tears and just suck it down. So, all right. But yeah, keep getting involved in the poll. Keep letting me know what you think about Licha. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like what Danny says, play him, do what you got to do. Maybe manage his minutes. I don't know if Liverpool is the one to go with. I don't even know if Brighton would be the one. Forest, maybe. I don't know. It's a shame that we're not in Carabao Cup, because he really could have gotten used to it against some lower league opposition. Not trying to be offensive. It just is what it is. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Let's move on to the next little bit of news that we're going to talk about here, because Marcus Rashford. Marcus. Oh, boy. The guy complains. He gives an interview complaining about basically never having a moment's peace in and around Manchester. You know, he's always being seen. He can't just go out like boohoo. But he's also given about 3 or 4 interviews talking about Manchester United, since he left the club, even last year, including a recent one he did for ITV Sport. And this time he's blaming the club for his development or lack thereof. So he says, I feel like I've been in an inconsistent environment for a very, very long time. Two varies, the twat. So it's even more difficult to be consistent. When people talk about consistency, in order to be consistent in anything, not just sports, you need consistent variables like in your life and in the way you train. And we've just had so many changes so far in my career. I think consistency is what I need to bring into my game. And yeah, I'm looking to do that. I have to look forward, and that's definitely one of the things that I'd want to put right and improve on to be at my best more often. Because when I'm at my best, I really enjoy everything about the sport. Let me go back to this first one here. Sir Marcus of Rashford. What the fuck, bro? Seriously. Like, are you just really that hurt for attention because nobody fucking cares in Barcelona that you've got to talk about United every chance you get? Like this is why. Like, and how ironic, too, to have him sit here and talk about consistency. He must have said it like 5 times. Because when I think of consistency, the last person I think of is Marcus Rashford. Because his form, his career, especially in the last 5 years or so, has been so up and down. His decision making is so up and down. The stuff that goes on off the pitch is so up and down and inconsistent. Like, he's the last person who should be talking about consistency. He just is. Like, it's like this bugged me, man. This absolutely bugged me. Yes, Jim, they do share half a brain. They absolutely do. Danny says it's a spoiled brat attitude, all right. It's deflection. And freaking Les Ferdinand spoke about this in one of my PFA courses. He spoke for like an hour. I was there virtually, obviously, because I live here. I'm not going to spend all the money to go to London for a day. Will be fun, though. But Les Ferdinand sat here and spoke about just this weak generation of players. Nothing is their fault. They deflect. They make excuses. Gary Neville, we just spoke about the other day. He says he can't handle people making excuses for poor performances. Like, we sat here and talked about it for like an hour and a half last week. And now Rashford, again, another one of these players, again, did the same thing when he gave that interview with Henry Winter, wanting to control the narrative, wanting to make sure, nope, never my fault. It's always someone else's fault. Like, I can't be. Now, to be fair, freaking dog fur. To be fair, I've said I'm not going to hypocrisize myself. I've said many times on this channel, referring to one of these books behind me, if you can see it, the white one in between the club and Soccernomics. There's a white book there by Ben Littleton called Edge. There is a chapter on there about team cohesion. There is a chapter on what's called a cohesion index. And there is a bit of information in there that I've said many times in the channel. There is a direct correlation between manager turnover rate and a hindrance of individual player development, meaning the more manager turnovers you have, and we've had, 6 in the last decade, right about the time Rashford's been in here, that the individual players, they don't develop as well. And there is truth to that. There is correlative evidence to that. It is what it is. So I don't have a problem with that, being a factor, because it is. So Rashford has a point. The problem I have is, it's kind of like what we complain about Amorim. What you're saying is true. Just don't fucking say it, because all it does is sound like excuses and deflection. Like, because I guarantee you Rashford's not read that book. It's not like he's citing the book or anything. It just sounds, again, like the same Rashford we see. If it was like his first interview, it might sound different as well. But he's said shit like this over and over and over again. And it just sounds like you're doing everything you can to make sure people don't forget. Nope, it's not my fault. It's United. Super annoying. Box is so fed up with Rashford. And you want to know the shit that pisses me off most about stuff like this, and it's not just this is just in life. One of my biggest pet peeves is situations where I'm made to feel older than I am. Like when I've got to chaperone people, when the first thing that pops in my mind is these young kids, like these young Thundercats, like when shit like that pops in my mind, I'm like, fuck, I feel old. And that pisses me off. Rob Taft says, I'm waiting for Barca to try to lower the Rashford price. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe there's a part of it. Maybe he's trying to just, make us look bad, so we're a little desperate to get rid of him. I don't know, man. Box says Rashford and Henry Winter, a legendary partnership. Nice. We got Rio and Vidic. We've got Scholesy and Kino. And then we've got Rashford and Henry Winter, man. Match made in heaven. So I don't know what you guys think about Rashford, what you think about him these days. Do you watch any Barcelona? I don't watch a whole lot of La Liga, as you guys know. There are some teams that I'll watch when I'm scouting, like Sociedad and whatnot, but I don't watch a ton of La Liga. I can't get into like two-team leagues, basically. It just doesn't make sense. So, but I don't really, and I haven't really spoken about Rashford a lot. I know all these people will be talking about, oh, this many goals since joining, like, and I just don't get involved. Same with Hoyland, same with Sancho. Just once you're gone, Garnacho, once you're gone, you're gone. I don't care anymore. I really don't. Especially given the nature with Rashford's exit took place, like the interview, all the nonsense, all the responding to tweets in the middle of the night, going out and doing shit they shouldn't be doing. Like I'm over it. So I wash my hands of it, but I'm just tired of seeing this kind of shit pop up, man. It's ridiculous. So, Jim says, as long as Rashford doesn't come back to United, I'll be happy. Not to. I don't think he's definitely not coming back. There's no way he's coming back. Like he's got to be. He's gone. He's for sure gone. I don't know how Barcelona are going to afford him because they can't afford shit anymore. They're an absolute joke. I don't get it at all. But not my problem. So as long as we just don't get freaking lowballed, I'm happy. But apparently obligation to buy clauses mean fuck all these days. So Warbzo, welcome back. Good to see you again. Says blames everyone but himself. He's just trying harder at Barca. He gave up at United. And I mean, we saw some rumors earlier this week that Lewandowski's probably going to be leaving. I've said many times, I don't know where Rashford thinks he's going to play. The only hope I see for him at Barca is if he somehow becomes a 9 and does really, really well, because I don't see him ousting Lamine Yamal. I don't see him ousting Rafinha. Like, he's not. So, but then I do think Barcelona could probably go for a striker once Lewandowski leaves. Who knows? Maybe they'll wait a year if Rashford's doing well, but we'll see. They've gone through a bit of strikers in recent years. Remember, Memphis was there for a hot second as like a false ninus, but yeah, Warbzo, it's definitely a bit of a modern player thing it's never their fault. And maybe it's a modern person thing. I mean, we've talked to Dylan a couple times on the channel in the Kickabout. You guys know Dylan's a teacher. And we've asked him, like, is this like a teenager thing? Because he deals with these little shitheads every single week, every single day. And I'm like, that sounds exhausting. This is why I'm not a parent, because I'm too sarcastic for one. And I'd be the parent who's like, why are you crying? Like, why? Stop. I love kids. I just don't want any. So it is what it is. But yeah, this shit pisses me off. And I'm the therapist. I'm supposed to be like all empathetic. If you want empathy, it's $135 an hour. So that's what I say to people when they ask me why I'm being so harsh, because it costs money if you want me to be nice. So, boxes I remember they had Braithwaite. Yep. Luke de Jong. Yep. I remember him as well. Adama, Fati, Aubameyang. Yeah. Obama wank. Finally, what do you guys think about this claim that came out this morning? I woke up early this morning from Indicala News, the outlet. Now, Indicala is multiple people. It's not one guy. It's multiple people. That apparently United were set for a meeting in London today with a UAE-based consortium about a possible takeover. Did you guys see this? What are your thoughts? And it says the last time Rashford was playing well was before the last World Cup. He's been so inconsistent since. Yeah, and he's the one here blaming United for being inconsistent. Oh man. So there was a lot of ownership talk last week. Obviously, that Turkey Al Sheikh guy, made those claims and then came out and basically said, no, it's not me, but something's happening. And then we saw this Thomas Iliakis come out. He's the Finnish billionaire who previously tried to get involved in the club back with Ineos, and apparently Qatar were involved. Remember, Qatar could never prove that they had the funds. Ineos won out because their ultimate valuation, while it was a partial takeover to start, their overall valuation was higher than anybody else. So basically, overall, the Glazers were eventually going to get more money from Ineos. Surprise, surprise, that's what they went for. But then, yeah, Iliakis arrived late, and he kind of blamed the Glazers for turning it into a bidding war and then backed out. So this guy talks a lot. So go check out the video we did the other day if you want to learn a little bit more about this Iliakis guy. But a lot of ownership talk. And then you had all these outlets, TalkSport and whatnot, claiming it was some sort of UAE-based consortium that this Turkey guy was talking about, which everybody started running with, right? Personally, I think this is just Indicala News kind of just speculating like we see from everybody, throw a bunch of shit at the wall, see what sticks, get out ahead of it. I think they're piggybacking off all the UAE stuff that came out last week. I'm starting to regret that David Ornstein ever gave Indy Kayla News a moment of fame by shouting them out. I think that was the worst thing that's happened to football rumors, because they got like one rumor right, and then since then it's just been garbage. And David Ornstein just gave them a tiny shred of credibility, and since then they've just stopped trying. It seems like, man. And then he says, on Rashford, before that it was the same, but he had the he's young excuse. Yeah, everybody's get the he's young excuse. So I think Rashford's just burned out in the Premier League and at Manchester United. So I mean, 10 years in the first team, just nonstop. I mean, it does get burned out, man. So Rob Taft says, yeah, we need rid of Rashford and Sancho permanently. Yeah, man, it's these young English wingers that just having some issues these days. Grealish, I'm glad Grealish is at Everton doing a thing, but Grealish is still overrated flop at City. He just was. You remember when Fred outscored him when his first season at Man City? Fred had more goals, like 100 million they paid for this little fucking man bun asshole. But hey, cool. He's got kids cut their hair like he does, so that makes it worth it, right? According to some City fans. So, Box says, I'm very skeptical on new owners talk, bids, etc. Be honest, still hungover from that year-long Qatar saga. Yeah. I'm not I mean, I don't want to get into a whole state-owned versus, what kind of ownership people like. I'll just say this. I don't want United to be state-owned like a Newcastle or something. I wouldn't really appreciate that. And that's not like a human rights thing or anything. I just don't like the idea of it personally. I don't mind a rich person from Qatar doing it, but if it's state-owned or this just seems weird to me. But it is, especially the PIF. I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff. But Warzo says, I would love a full takeover, clearing of the debt and all that, but I don't want to get my hopes up. Yeah, we'd all want the debt to be cleared. It's very rare, though, that you're going to come in and a billionaire is going to come in and immediately want to spend an extra bill just clearing some debt, man. Like, I don't know if you got married and you were planning to get married, and then you found out, this person's got $100,000 of student loan debt and another like $50,000 in credit card debt, you'd probably be like, do I want to be responsible for that? Probably not. But again, Ineos knew all this and they still did it, and that's why I'm a little less sympathetic for them. Again, Ineos, if you want some empathy, it's $135 an hour, unless you're a couple. And if couples, it's $160 an hour. So if Sir Jim and Omar want to sit down, they're going to have to pay another $25. So I don't really appreciate it. That excuse. Rob Always United just gifted 5 memberships. Big up, Rob. Thank you, man. Absolute legend. Let me put that up on the screen, man. Big up, Rob Always United. You're a legend, my friend. Appreciate you just helping and supporting and everything, dude. You get one of these members doing that. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate that, my friend. Let's see what you are saying here. On Rashford, Jim says he did give up at United. Give him time, he will give up at Barca. Yeah, as soon as shit goes wrong and people start blaming him, he's gonna start blaming everybody else. It's just what happens, man. Let's see. Box says Indy Kayla Liverpool fan. Rob says, into the United Arab Emirates, the City Group. I do believe there is a bit of a conflict there, personally, but it's one person, the Sheikh Mansour, who owns them. And so again, then you get into whole, like, on paper it looks one way, but then in reality, it's like how RB Salzburg and RB Leipzig can be in the Champions League. On paper, different ownership groups altogether. It's part of the thing what we tried to argue with, like, Nice and United and Europa League and stuff. We're different. Sir Jim just needs to sell Nice, man. They're not doing anything. Orbzo says, I did, however, have a theory a long time ago that the Glazers could use Ineos to raise the share price floor to 33 to get a higher sale price in the future. Yeah, you might know more about finances than I do. I know a little, not a lot. I know enough to do some videos, which we have done in the past, on maybe how to get the Glazers out of the club. Things like that we've gone through and done. So, and it has more to do with the way that we're traded publicly, and things like no confidence votes or things like that can be used as well. So Jim says, I can't believe the takeover is real. Can't get my hopes up again. Fox says, ideally, I wouldn't want state ownership. But football is so far gone out, sold out a year ago. And I've said many times, Box, that money is going to make football unwatchable, like just unwatchable, like over time. With the increase in Champions League and Europa League matches, the World Cup expansion, all these mid-season friendlies that we're trying to do, post-season tournaments that we did last season, like it's too much football, it's too much money involved. There's corruption. Maybe we'll learn more. Maybe if Ben Affleck and Matt Damon ever do their FIFA corruption film that reportedly they were going to do way back when, we'll learn a little bit more. But if you want to learn a little bit more about United's ownership, there's a book behind me called The World's Biggest Cash Machine. It's all about Glazer ownership. Where's this at? Let me see. This one right here. It's a good book, all about the ownership, the Glazers, how it came to be, all that kind of shit. We've done a what if episode on that, on what if the Glazers didn't buy United. So go check out that video as well, because there was a lot of shit going on back then that could have seen the club go a totally different route. So go check that out as well. But big up, Rob, again, for that membership gift. Awesome. Absolute legend. Me get caught up because all of you guys are. Danny B says Jarvis got one too. Yeah, I think Jarvis did go live. It's always difficult because I have to pick and choose which of these other guys I can go watch live because I'm just busy. Obviously, a lot of us do things at the same time. It would be great if everybody did things at a different time. It's just not the way it is. So hopefully, if you're not watching me live, you're watching Jarvis, come back and watch this. Make sure to hype the video on your phone when you're done. It's like a button underneath the video next to like the super gifts. Go and do that. Yeah, the lurkers. Yeah. Gifting always exposes the lurkers, man. Rob says maybe UAE are preparing for the 115 charges and jumping ship. Well, a lot of people are jumping ship. I don't know why they would, like, if they were found guilty, do you think that they would be allowed to pass the fit and proper persons test to go own another club? That's probably like one and done, right? Like you're done. Like I don't think that would be worth it. Box agrees that money is gonna. Yeah, I think money is just gonna ruin it. I just think it is. You're seeing it. Like I've said a couple times on the channel. There was an interview somebody did on SiriusXM probably about a decade or so ago, maybe 8 years ago. They were talking just about where things are going, and one of the things the guy talked about was like kits being made of like a fiber optic weave, so that they would actually, the kits themselves, like the shirts would actually, you could change sponsors and colors and stuff during a match. So there's a possibility that kind of like a billboard, like electronic billboards, that like sponsor companies would pay for minutes, like commercial time in a Super Bowl. And so you'd get like, oh, like first 15 minutes is this sponsored by TeamViewer, the next 15 minutes it's Snapdragon or some shit. Like that's what people are actively thinking about. How do we get more money out of it? We saw the introduction of the sleeve sponsor not that long ago, which a lot of people were not cool with. I mean, it's nowhere near what you see in like Liga MX. Those freaking shirts look like NASCARs. Those shirts look like the back windshield of an old Jeep Grand Cherokee, just covered in bumper stickers, man. And legends will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say old Jeep Grand Cherokee, because those things that are like 30 years old are covered in bumper stickers on the windshield. What are you guys saying about Licha so far? 79% of you say keep him, and 21% of you say cut our losses. Not Brett May, so who are you then? Hi, welcome to the channel. Big up, man. Good to see a new face. I feel like I've seen you in here before. Let me know. Rich066, all Everton will take over happen. You came in here the other day. I love that the Everton fans in here. That's awesome. I mean, it's better than Liverpool fans, so you've got that going for you. But I mean, you're still Everton. So let us know how you feel about James Garner. I had high hopes for James Garner. I was a little upset that he was a bit sacrificial when we needed to raise money. But it is what it is. Box thinks that sounds terrible. I don't like the idea of it, but like I said, it's where shit's going these days. People are just, when you're rich, you're just constantly figuring out how to get more money, and it's a bunch of rich dudes thinking they know what's best for the game. We saw that with the Super League. We've seen this with other things. They think that they're going to argue, well, this is better. The game's dying. We have to do this in order to save it. No, you don't. You really don't. You just have to do it if you want to make more money. So it is what it is. I mean, the TV rights are one thing. Sponsor. There'll be more kit sponsor spaces, and we saw United get its first back sponsor recently for special matches. It's not like a year-long thing, but that will become new. I guarantee you that will be in the Premier League soon as well. Lower back sponsor or something. That was one of the things. Like when I was with Livonia City Football Club as a board member, that was like my thing that I took on as a volunteer. Was like I'll get the sponsorships. I'll get us back into the footing, and I did. We got chest sponsors. We got an upper back sponsor, a lower back sponsor, a sleeve sponsor, and that's just part of it. That's how you make money in football clubs. Just getting that money to. Jim's got to go. Big up, man. Thank you for stopping by, getting your thoughts in, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with the ownership situation. Rumors are going to rumor. It just is what it is. I mean, you haven't seen much in the press. They're too busy bashing Benjamin Sesko, apparently. But I think that we haven't seen the end of it. We spoke way back in the spring that this drag-along clause was going to kick in August, and it did. That was the clause that said if Sir Jim and Ineos didn't have full takeover by 18 months in, that the Glazers could listen to new offers. And probably, I don't doubt that they are speaking and they're getting proposals. But again, Ineos also have first rights to match that offer, which I just don't know if Sir Jim can do without the help of a consortium. And so we'll see. Just go sell Nice, bro. You'll get at least half a bill for Nice alone. He only paid about $250 million for Nice. So, Box says, I don't like seeing those big Italian teams being outbid by newly promoted EPL teams, lower Premier League. Seeing AC Milan lose out to a Leeds Sunderland really shows the golf. Yeah, well, Serie A was struggling not too long ago, if you guys remember, financially. The French league, a lot of those clubs are struggling as well. And so it's amazing to me that this kind of stuff can happen, but it does. And I think that this is sometimes what can happen when you fly too close to the sun. You do get burned. So we'll see. I don't think United's ever in doubt. Kieran Maguire posted again today, our share prices are up. Again, we do seem to be immune to the fact financially the stuff on the pitch doesn't really hurt us at all. Share prices are still high. We still get money. We still get sponsorships. We still draw revenue. It doesn't matter. When you're big, you're big. That's just the way it goes. Now, for the longest time, that was almost an excuse for the Glazers to not try. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Stehausen said it perfectly the other day when he said, if you told the Glazers, we'll do $150 million a year investment in the squad and you'll get like top four, or you can give us $300 million now and we'll win a trophy. He said, yeah, the Glazers would probably just say, here's $150 million, top four is fine. Like, perfectly eloquently put. Like, I got time for Stehausen. The guy knows what the fuck he's talking about from all sorts of tactical coaching, all that stuff. So I got time for him. But I think that that's exactly right. Like, it's just the way it is. And so as long as the share prices are going up, the shareholders are happy, the revenue's coming in, the Glazers never cared. It just is. It was only when we missed out on top four in that Champions League cheddar cheese that they took notice and remembered, oh yeah, we own a football club. Let's go do something. Let's shake it up. Because statistically, if you look back, whenever we've hired and brought in, and when we fired and brought in a new manager, there was a big spike in share prices as well. And so it is what it is. They know what to do. Rich says Garner is great as left back as well as midfield. I loved Garner, man. I wish we would have kept him, dude. But yeah, he's getting better. I know he's on your set pieces and stuff as well. I like his attitude. I like his ability on the ball. He's good. Danny says never wanted to sell Garner. Rich was only sold for profit. Yeah, and we did the same thing with Elanga, Garner, McTominay was done as well, and I think that Alvaro as well. It's just Ten Hag he had a little too much power, Ten Hag. A lot of the stuff happened under him as well. I think that and now we're seeing us kind of get to a different structure where the coach, the manager, isn't even a manager anymore. As a head coach, doesn't have that much power. Has power, right, in terms of these are the kind of players I need. This is what I think. This is who I'm looking at, kind of thing. But not the same. But Lucky, welcome, Lucky. Good to see you again. Glazers out fan with 2 shirts. Yes. You can get yourself some shirts. You get the OG green and gold. It's been a while since I brought up the UVE store. You guys want to check out what's going on there again? Once more, let's go share the tab again, shall we? Oh, it's not loading. Yes. Go check out the UVE store, guys. Get one-of-a-kind gear. It doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't give the club any money whatsoever. and I don't even make a ton of money on it. Here, we'll bring it up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Make sure you guys are liking. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new, please. Love to see everybody getting involved. The UVE stores, I have it sorted by designs. So you click on one of these designs, like if you want to click on a Fergie Time design, it'll bring you up every product that the store has that's got the Fergie Time logo on it. We got men's, women's, we've got posters in there, everything all over the place. Guys, go check it out. I like my Solskjaer shirt. Love that one. I love that one a lot, actually. So go check out the UVE store. And like I said, the OG green and gold, if you want to rock the anti-glazer movement and still represent the channel at the same time, get yourself the OG green and gold design that supports the channel. You guys know I love designing these things. They're fun. Love to check them out. So I love when Dylan's rocked them. If you guys buy one, let me know. You can tag me if you guys want to take photos. We'll put it on the channel. But that's going to be it for me on the news roundup. Appreciate everybody for stopping by, for getting involved. Thanks for checking out Breno Bedone. Good little scouting report there. Love the Licha chat. Love the Rashford chat, as always. Love the ownership chat. That's probably going to be a big focus for the Kickabout this week when Dylan comes back. Hopefully, Dylan's got a lot of work. I don't want to ever pressure him to do that. That stuff's more important. So we'll see. But probably be a big focus. But make sure you like, and guys, make sure you subscribe. Check out the memberships as well if you want to get more involved. There is a tab in the community section of the channel's page for Starting 11 Legends members to get their suggestions for like scouting reports, what if episodes. There's also a link in there in a special tab for access to the WhatsApp group for anybody who wants to jump in on that. But it is available for Starting 11 and Legends members. Let's keep it that way, please. Make sure we don't share that with your mom and your dad, everybody. Just be respectful and be respectful in things. So enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your night. Thank you guys for stopping by. I appreciate that as always, you guys. And I will see you guys on the next one. Make sure to come back for Under 20 World Cup Best 11 Liverpool preview as well, and the Kickabout this week. So we've got a big week planned for you guys. So take it easy, and I will see you guys on the next one. Later.